It is that time. I'm going to pick my college football playoff national champion. This is my prediction for the game Miami versus Indiana. Whenever you hear a person pick Miami, something I've noticed is they all say the same thing. This team reminds me a lot of Penn State. This team reminds me a lot of Iowa, of Ohio State, especially on defense. What they mean by that is Miami stops the run really well. There's no denying that Fernando Mendoza is an absolute weapon, and he's been playing like an absolute weapon. I think the way he's played during this run has been his best football of the year. The ball placement has been otherworldly. And listen, if he plays like that, it's just over. There's nothing you can do about it. That being said, if Indiana is running the ball at will, then you're definitely cooked because all those play action looks, those RPOs are going to be even easier to hit. So I think Miami's going to come out and really put a focus on stopping the run. And I think they're going to play a lot of man coverage on these wide receivers to stop those RPO looks. And I will admit, that sounds really, really good in theory until all of a sudden it's not an RPO. And they aren't running the football. They're drop back passing, and now you got to guard these wide receivers one on one. It's trouble. On the flip side, though, Indiana's run defense is just as good. Their secondary players are just as good, if not better, actually, especially with how banged up Miami is. And do you trust Carson Beck and those wide receivers to make a play as much as you do Mendoza and Indiana's receivers? The answer to that for me is no, I don't. I think it is much more sustainable for Indiana to come up and play man coverage to focus on stopping the run than it is for Miami to do the same against Indiana. I just think Indiana has more ways to hurt you, and they're more creative doing it, honestly. I do think there's a world, and I actually think it's pretty likely, that Miami's defense keeps this a great ball game, and maybe even keeps it a winnable ball game because of how well they get to the quarterback and because of how well they stop the run. But the one thing that I just cannot shake is how multiple this Indiana team is in the run game. They just do whatever you're not good at defending. Whatever you align to, they do the opposite. One week they'll be an inside zone duo team. The next week they'll run outside zone H counter. In their last game, they were a pin and pull team. So I think Indiana is going to find a way to be a little bit better in the run game. They might not get 4.5 yards per carry, but they might get 3. They might get 3.5. That might make you respect it a little bit more. And then you've got to deal with the pass game, the RPO, the play action on top of it. I really went back and forth on this all week. I love the way that Mario Cristobal prepares. I love the way that his team has been approaching this run. I love their physicality, and I do think they're going to be able to run the football on Indiana. I think they're going to have success there. I think that, along with their defense, will keep them in the game. The 8.5 point spread, Indiana could cover it at the end, but man, I feel like that's disrespectful. I have flipped back and forth on this game so many times. So here are my final thoughts. Miami is going to have more traditional success running the football. Indiana's going to find ways to run it well enough to keep them in the game, and their receivers are just going to make a couple more plays. Fernando Mendoza is going to make a couple more throws. Indiana, game-winning drive. Miami covers. Indiana wins.